It was here in 1977. My hair looks terrible. I was supposed to get it cut today. There it is. You can't really see it now. There's a bunch of, I don't know, trailers or classrooms or something. But that was just open space to the basketball court. The Ritter gang was playing basketball that day. It was 77, sometime in the summer. The ball rolled all the way out of bounds to about that point there. And a young dude that was playing with the Ritter gang, he wasn't necessarily part of the Ritter gang, but he chilled with them. There was a couple people that would just come and play, pick up basketball games and football games and so forth with the Ritter gang. My dad was definitely playing that day. I don't know who else was. I think there was a sinker involved, probably a cootie, on and on and on. But the guy who came over here was a guy named Richard Snizak. They called him Sniz. And when he picked the ball up right there, he looked down there, because I used to take my big wheel and roll down that little hill into those doors. Those were red doors back then, but those are like more reinforced now, but into the doors that were there. And there was a girl named Carol Hausman, and I think a girl named Kim Milder. Maybe that was too early for her. Maybe there was a girl named, maybe it was one of the Glazics. Or maybe it was there was another girl. I think it might have been a girl named Karen something from Sherman Street who went to Catholic school, which is why I didn't know her. But anyway, Sniz saw two girls picking on me, older. They were like maybe 3 or 4 years older than me, and they were, I don't know, giving me a noogie or, I don't know, pushing me around or something. And he just saw me at the bottom of there with two girls, and he was like, oh, look at him, Richie Romance. And then he said, hey, Yance, kids over here getting the romance on. So that is where it started, but that was 1977. Flash forward 9 years, August 1986, to this place right here, a place I knew well. That's where all my games were from Eastside Youth Center. But now this is the practice field. I was starting sometime in early August. I had to make the choice. After 6 years of taking guitar lessons from Dan Fredericks, brother of Bass Fredericks, famous East Side musicians, I tried everything I could. I have an acoustic guitar. My dad bought me an electric, but no matter which way I shook the dice, it was 86. It was the height of hair metal. I wasn't trying to be Bon Jovi or Skid Row or a hair band, and that's all I could come up with. My dad wanted me to be the next Keith Richards, and be a rock star, but we didn't call it classic rock then. But no matter which way I shook the dice, it's no matter how good I get at this, best case scenario, I could become Eddie Van Halen maybe, but they're still kind of heavy metal and have big hair. There was just no way I could shake it up where it was I could get people like Ruth Latch or Kayleen Wagner or Tara Abraham to come to see me play a guitar and dress sexually. I don't know. I just put that on the back burner. I had to quit taking guitar lessons so I could play football. So we came here on day one of double sessions. It was probably 8 in the morning or something like that. And you had coaches there, and one of them was Snizak, the guy who called me Romance. You had Coach Steiner, Coach Marks, Coach Litzenberger, Coach, he was my 10th grade Themes of American Culture teacher. I forget his name. Anyway, there was a couple different coaches. And then I had Coach Riddick was the freshman coach. So someone, I think it was, I think Snizak was going down, like he read off all the seniors. Then he went down like a roll call. We were all like, we didn't even have helmets on or like anything. It was day one. It was real hot. We went through all juniors and all of the, the JV squad. And then he got down to the freshman guys, and it's like, all right, Frack, King, Harris, they were the stars. Coons, Snyder, Sterner, Marks, McNally, Schneeberger, France, Romance, Richie Romance. And then like Coach Marks was like, who? France? Richie Romance? And then like the head coach Steiner was like, Richie Romance. And then so by that point, Coach Riddick was like, okay, Richie Romance, I know exactly who you are. You're Jesse's son. Get on over here. You're going to do some running. Marathon Mel. You're going to be doing wind sprints. You're going to be Husky Pups. So, every time on that field, is that geese out there? There's a bunch of geese out there. When it was time to do a hill, Romance, do a hill. Romance, hold the bags. Romance, 100 yards. Romance, what the hell? It was Richie Romance. So everyone on the team sort of called me Richie Romance. So, and basically what I did at that point, because I was really small and I didn't realize it then, but we all know now I suck at sports. Not my strong point, but I wasn't going to not play football. It's like not wearing clothes or not breathing or something. So yeah, I've been playing football 6 years. I'm going to fucking play. Basically, like the stinkier people on the team, me, I think Chad, Butch, I think Trev Sterner might have been on there. He was a littler guy. We had to hold bags for like the bigger guys, the seniors and like the varsity squads, and I don't know if you guys remember the X-Men, but like these were some fully grown, big, huge dudes, like Obi, Night Train, Roundtree. I think he was the running back, but then there was still Bill Hall, who was even bigger, and I don't know, they just pummeled us. Tyrone Cross, was a Drayton in there, freaking Mark Boyer was like 8 feet tall, freaking giraffe. And then, that wasn't the end of it. Like, that was just the X-Men. There was a whole shitload of other guys that were, John Hayes played on that team. Joey Semel played on that team. The great Joe Cassis played on that team, although he wasn't a power guy. He was one of those, like, punt-returning, fast, quick guys that dipped and dodged. So, we would leave here, and then we would go to the locker room. Now, at that time, I'd been writing rhymes since 7th grade. A lot of people know my rhyme, Michelle. That's my most famous rap ever. I don't remember the words anymore. I'm embarrassed about it. Michelle remembers the words. My first rhyme in 7th grade was another song about another Michelle. The Michelle you're thinking of didn't come out until 10th grade. That was 88. In 85, I wrote a song about a girl named Michelle Now. She was in Gifted with me. She was cute. I mean, she wouldn't blow away, knocking me off the map, but like, I tried to ask her to slow skate or borrow a pencil from her or something. She just wouldn't give me any time of day. So I wrote a song called She Won't Give No Play. She won't give me no play or something like that. Like, she won't give me the time of day. Like, and I wrote a rhyme about that. I mean, you're cute. You're in Gifted with us, so that means if your name is not Dwayne, Rudy, or Richie Rowe, you're probably, I don't want to say nerd, but socially have a tough time on playgrounds and fitting in places other than a Gifted class. So I'm giving you the time of day. Why won't you give it back? So that was my first rhyme. And I wrote a bunch of other ones, just like ones that were like braggadocious rhymes. Like I was just learning how the basic tenets of rapping because I'm good at English and words. And actually, it was Dean Lehman who gave my dad, he used to change the records in jukeboxes back when they had that. And he used to bless my dad off with a whole bunch of 45s all the time. We had a big stack of 45 records. I don't remember them, they were little round ones, like not as big as LPs, just one song, singles. I mean, I knew Ghostbusters because of him. I knew Think of Laura by Christopher Cross because of him. I knew, my sister's name is Desiree. There was a song by Neil Diamond called Desiree. Knew that. So one day in '81, he gives my dad a 45 called Rapture by Blondie. And my dad, I'm listening to it. It's like pretty funky. It's like a disco song. My dad and most of the Rear Gang hated disco, but I like disco. I got some rhythm, got some moves. Pretty funky. And then she was rapping. Fat 530 told me everybody style. DJ singing, he said, Ma, Flash is gas, Flash is cool, Flash was the bone. What we'll do when you don't stop to the punk rock. Go out to the parking lot and you get in your car and you drive real far and you drive all night till you see the light. So little by little, I was making rhymes. And then once I quit taking guitar lessons and being at football practice all day, me and Chad were really into Run DMC at the time because that was when Raising Hell, their third album, came out. Most people would think Walk This Way was what we're into. Nope. We should have been into Peter Piper. I was, of course, or My Adidas, also that. But me and Chad's favorite song was You Be Illin'. Yo, You Be Illin'. So I was making up rhymes like that. And I was slowly learning, like a lot of like older stuff that I kind of missed out on. Like I kind of missed LL Cool J Rock the Bells in '85, but by '86 I picked up on it. I did know from being at Keck Park, like Bruner and Junior Stout and those guys who ride shifter, they're always blasting Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh, so I learned their two songs, which is The Show and Lottie Dottie, which we'll get to in a minute. But that was just day one of Double Sessions. Now, this Double Sessions begins in like the beginning of August, and it goes all the way up until school starts in the beginning of September. So presumably, I'm thinking school started, I don't know, September. Let's just say it was September 1st. It was probably a Tuesday. So that Friday was September 4th. Now, we were the bad boys in Moser. We were the bad boys in Harrison Morton. We were the bad boys of the East Side. The Beastie Boys didn't come out yet, but we were kind of like that. But instead of 3 people, we were like 8. It was basically me, Stouty, Dave Stout, Butch McNally, Rudy Flamish, Frank LaClaus, Dwayne Schneeberger, Chris Pavelko. Oh God, I'm forgetting some. Juan Enriquez I'll throw in there, although he was kind of not 100% at first. Couple stragglers here and there, but that was pretty much the original gang. And there's 2 kinds of young men in this world. There are, for some reason, we had no middle children in our gang. Everyone was either the youngest and had older brothers or sisters. Butch had an older sister, and she was kind of like a party girl from like the early 80s. She was like something out of the Go-Go's or something. Stouty had a brother that was so much older than him that he had a kid that was 4 years younger than us, that everyone thought was Dave's brother, but it was really his nephew. I don't know how influential he was, but definitely Dwayne and Chris Pavelko had older brothers that were like, Pavelko's brother had been at Deer real recently, like 84 or 85, he was around. And we knew in 86 that there was going to be a party that Friday, that there was a football game, and then after the football game, probably everyone was going to go to the Raz. And we wanted to go to the Raz. We're Eastside boys. We're Keck Park boys. We're Moser dudes. Well, I'm a Ritter guy, but I was a dissident of this. I was the weirdo of the clique. So somewhere in this little area of Deerf is where Dwayne and I dwelled in the morning. And we knew we had to get beer. We had just started drinking a few weeks earlier. There was one day where somehow Kelly Hayes was supposed to come with us, but she bailed. And then Juan's sister Joanne came with us instead. And me, Chris, I think Rudy, Dwayne might have been in there, and Butch all went to the movie theaters, and we drank what we called rocket fuel. We would just take little bits and pieces of bottles and pour it into a cup and drink that, and that was the first time we ever got drunk. So I remember Butch was there because we went to, number one, we went to see Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That was the movie that was out at the time. This was, again, August 86. And Butch, in his normal Butch ways, grossed the whole theater out by pissing on the floor for some odd reason towards the end of the movie. At least we got to see most of the movie, but that's Butch for you. But somewhere in the morning, Dwayne was kind of the brains behind the Wheels of Steel. Stout was 6'4". He was playing varsity as a freshman. He did not play freshman football. He played varsity football. And even though, like, he was in our gang, he never, like, held that above us. He was pretty down to earth about it. Like didn't rub it in our faces that we all played freshmen. Or at least me, Dwayne, Butch. I think Pavelko, like, signed up but quit because he was involved with chickies or so, focused on wrestling. I don't know. But anyway, Dwayne came up with the brilliant idea. And there was also a member of our gang that gets forgotten about, a guy named Adam Malozzi, who was also did a lot of brain works. One of those two, between him and Dwayne, they came up with the idea, all right, look, we got to hit everybody up and we get $3 or $4 from everyone. So everyone chips in. Me, Rudy, Scott, Dwayne, Bush. We got like $30 altogether. Danny Miller hopped in. Well, I don't know why, and we even convinced, I think, Gloria Kovic and Lynn Bowman, like, we got some gifted girls to, like, just come along with us. We were like, yeah, man, it's going to be a party. You should come with us, yo. It's outside, but, you know, the reservoir, yeah, party, woo, beer. So we put in a hot call to a guy lived right up the street from here, named Mike Tossi. Wasn't 21, but had some kind of ID spiels. He wasn't available. But a guy who lived right down that way, black kid, you might know him, Sidley Barron Robertson, he was willing to get us the beer. So we had $30. We thought we were golden. Like, we're going to have enough beer. We're going to get these girls so drunk, we're all going to lose our virginity. Yay! That was the type of stuff young men talk about value in their lives at that point. That was what we were all trying to do. We were trying to become men and lose our gain manhood, shall we say. I guess I think where we screwed up was we didn't know our terminology yet. I mean, we knew there was going to be a party. We knew we were going to be like freshmen scrubs. And also, freshman is hard. Like, at Morton, we were the shit. We were in 8th grade. We're boys. All our girlfriends, like we hung out with all the cheerleaders, and we were athletes, and we were bad boys. We were fun guys or whatever. You know what I mean? When when you're in Morton, you can date anyone's kind of game in Morton. So if you're in 8th grade, you can still date a 6th grader. Well, I guess that's kind of weird to say, but I mean, I dated Michelle Snyder, who was in 7th grade. I messed around or something like that with Heather Woolley at one point. She was in 6th grade. Ruth Latch was more of like, I don't know if it was a relationship more than it was intimidation. You will be with me or I will beat you, kind of a thing going on there. What strange. Wish I had that now. Anyone's game. And then once you get to high school, everyone everything's game. But once you're in 9th grade, you cannot go out with a person in Morton or middle school. So like, even though I was still like, I had Michelle Snyder, and there was still things going on with a person named Cindy Walnock that people may or may not remember. I couldn't, they were off limits now. They were in 8th grade, they were in Morton. Oh my God, middle schoolers. We're in high school, we're big boys. So, and then once you get to high school, like the moment that the cheerleading practice begins during double sessions, like every possible freshman girl is sniffed out and vetted by everyone in the school, or at least on the football team and the soccer team. So it's kind of like girls date up, guys date down. So like, if you're a senior, you can date a freshman, but usually it's going to be a senior dude with any other girl of whatever grade. It's hard as a freshman to get an older girl. And then since most of what you're dealing with, you know, hey, I'm cool with Tara Abraham. Hey, I'm cool, you know, Kayleen's my girl, you know, from back in the day, whatever. Like, they were now, like, after, like, week 1, they were in with the varsity squad. They were cheerleaders. They're popular. So it's hard as a freshman boy, as a freshman guy. But anyway, be that as it may, we were going to get our case of beer. It was, I believe, Coors Light. And just so you know, like, I feel bad saying that Sid did that for us. He did it so many times, he graduated in 86. Like, he was already gone before we became freshmen. He graduated that June before we started in August, but he's one of the gang now. And